They will lie, steal, betray, even kill. Just to stay alive. The fear center is found in a part of the brain behind the ear.
Call me dramatic, but nothing breaks my heart more than that moment when I realise my players aren't connecting with something I've spent weeks building up. I've got this whole deal mapped out from start to end, and nobody cares about this NPC. You're standing there with all your notes that you're never going to get through because the vibe's already dead, and it's easier to put the blame on them, as if that habit of interrupting was intentional. But, putting my ego aside, I realise they interrupt me so much simply because they're not interested. So I end up driving myself crazy asking why? Why wouldn't they be interested in something that took me so much effort to put together? And it's not like this NPC is a throwaway filler, they actually matter to the story. Except, he doesn't matter to them. Not yet. Maybe not ever if you keep going the way you're going. It took me way too long to understand that players decide if they care about someone in maybe 10 seconds? Probably less. They're not waiting for you to finish your whole explanation before forming an opinion. They've already formed it. The second you start describing someone new, they're making a call. Important? Not important. Threat? Not a threat. Worth remembering? Or just another NPC in a world full of NPCs they're never going to see again. And once that opinion lands, good luck moving it. Most advice about this will tell you to make interesting characters. Write good backstories. Give them compelling motivations, which, sure, yeah, all true, but that completely misses the actual problem happening, which is that none of that matters if your introduction makes people zone out before you get to the good stuff. So I want to talk about how to introduce NPCs and villains in a way that actually earns attention instead of just assuming you have it, because that assumption that players will automatically care just because you're talking, that's where we all screw this up. Alright, first thing we need to realize is that some decisions happen faster than you think. The moment you start describing someone, your players are already deciding. They're not taking notes on everything you say and then making a thoughtful evaluation at the end. They're reacting in real time, and that reaction is based entirely on how you present the character. It's not on who the character actually is underneath all your prep. If you open with backstory, they clock this person as set dressing. If you open with a monologue, they're thinking, oh cool, a cutscene I have to sit through. If you've got two NPCs talking to each other while the party watches, forget it. They assume the scene isn't about them, and they're already planning what to do next or just waiting for you to finish so they can actually play. You've got one exchange, maybe two if you're lucky, before someone interrupts, asks an off-topic question, or tries to stab the guy, and that's your window. And in that window, don't waste your time trying to explain who this person is. It's better if you're trying to signal why they matter. Those are completely different goals, and confusing them is where introductions are gonna fail. So what does an introduction actually do? I'll tell you what it does not do first. It doesn't tell the players everything. An intro is just a reason to keep paying attention. There's really only three things that work reliably, which I know, frameworks, very exciting. But hear me out, because this actually helps. First, you can show what the character wants right now. Not their master plan or their tragic backstory goal, their immediate motivation in that exact moment. What are they trying to get? What are they actively doing to get it? Here's an example. A wounded soldier begging for help before enemy reinforcements show up. That want creates motion, and the players respond to things that are moving. Second, you can show what they are protecting or scared of losing. A wound, something unresolved that's affecting how they're acting right now. For example, a noble who just lost their estate and is desperately clinging to whatever dignity they have left. Wounds make characters feel real, and players love when something feels vulnerable or raw. Third, and this one is my favourite, you can show a contradiction, something that doesn't match up with what they expect to see, like this sweet old woman who casually mentions burning down a village like she's talking about the weather. I love that. Contradictions create questions in your players' heads, and they'll stick around to figure out what's actually going on. You don't need all three, one is probably enough, but you do need one. Without it, you're just describing a person, and descriptions don't make people care. Okay, so the most common way this goes wrong, and I've genuinely done this so many times, is you introduce someone by explaining who they are, their title, their faction, or their role in the world, you know, like their history. You're trying to give context, right? You want players to understand why this person matters before you get to the actual scene. But they don't understand yet. They don't have a reason to care about any of that context. It's just information floating in the air with no stakes attached to it. And by the time you finally get to the part that's supposed to hook them, they're mentally checked out, and that's because information without stakes feels like homework. Players will tolerate it if they're already invested in the character. character. But if you're still trying to earn that investment, exposition just messes it all up. The fix is to attach this information to something happening right now, like let the lore explain consequences instead of just existing. Don't tell them the villain is ahead of an ancient order. Show them the villain soldiers blocking the only bridge out of town, and when the players ask why, then you can explain the order. The information sticks because it's answering a question they actually have, instead of a question you're asking them to care about. The second mistake is when we do the villain monologue thing. Guilty. This one's rough because we've all tried it. You want the villain to feel threatening, so you engineer a scene where they get to talk. They confront the party directly. Maybe you wrote a whole speech. Maybe you've got them standing on a balcony delivering threats while the party is in chains behind bars or whatever, and your players immediately start looking for ways to kill them. Remember that players are wired to act. Sitting still and listening to someone talk feels wrong at the table, especially where the whole point is making choices and doing things. If the villain's right there in front of them, reachable, the instinct is to do something about it. Even if you try to make the villain untouchable, like mechanically they can't be hurt yet, it just feels like a cutscene, which is frustrating because now they can't do anything and they know it. So, don't put the villain in the room yet. Introduce them through an aftermath, through witnesses, or through consequences of what they've already done. Let the party see what the villain left behind, like a village that's too quiet because everyone's terrified, or a message carved into someone's door, or even a survivor who can barely talk about what they saw. The villain's presence gets established without forcing a confrontation neither you nor the party is ready for. You build dread that way, seriously. And when the villain finally does show up in person, it hits different because players have been wondering about them instead of trying to fireball them on sight. And then, okay, the last one. There's this NPC to NPC theatre. Two characters talking to each other while the party just stands there watching, doing nothing. It could be whatever. It could be important. But it doesn't work because the scene doesn't need the players. They're an audience, not participants. And the second players realise they're not affecting anything, they zone out. So let's turn those conversations into something the party has to respond to. Make it a decision they need to influence or a conflict they interrupt just by being there. You need to make it something that directly changes what they're dealing with. If two NPCs are arguing about whether to surrender the town to an invading army, don't have the party watch, man. Make them the reason the argument's happening in the first place. The convo doesn't have to be about the NPCs. Think about the players. That being said, I say this with the player's mindset very much in mind. Sometimes you don't have to kill yourself for weeks to create a single NPC. Yes, I know. You put your heart and soul into it, but that effort will still go down the drain if you don't get this right. And it's honestly, the more effort you put into introducing someone, the more your players assume that person's going to matter later. Which sounds obvious when I say it like that, but it creates this trap, because if you spend 5 minutes describing some random shopkeeper, their appearance, their mannerisms, their whole vibe, and then you never mention them again, players get confused. They think they missed something, or worse, they start chasing that shopkeeper down because there's clearly a secret plot there. Why else would you spend so much time on them? Meanwhile, your actual villain, that one you introduced in passing because you were saving the big reveal for later, they ignore them because you didn't signal importance. Players can't read your notes. They don't know who's supposed to be a major character. They only know who you're treating like a major character. So if you spend more time on a random, they're going to assume the innkeeper is where the real story is. I've actually got a whole video dedicated to the 5 different types of NPCs that I personally use, and it ties in beautifully with how much effort you need to put in for each one, and you can find that video here. But for this video, the general gist is that major NPCs and villains need a clear signal from the start. Power, consequence, or personal stakes. Something that makes it obvious this person is going to shape what's happening next. You don't have to explain everything immediately, but the weight needs to be there. Now, once you've figured out the effort balance, dialogue becomes way easier to handle, because dialogue itself wasn't the problem. Unfocused dialogue is the problem. If your NPC is explaining who they are, you've lost. If they're explaining the plot, you've lost. If they're explaining how the world works, you're definitely lost. Dialogue works when it reveals what someone cares about, creates tension, or shows what they're deliberately ignoring. Things like refusals or demands. You should write about someone who's misjudging the situation or applying pressure to get what they want. Let the players learn who someone is by how they talk, not by what they're willing to explain. A noble who refuses to acknowledge the party's concerns tells you way more than a noble who sits there and carefully outlines their entire political philosophy. Just like a merchant who won't name their buyer shows you exactly where their loyalty sits. Players notice that stuff. They pick up on what characters avoid just as much as what they say directly, and you can lean into those gaps. Let the silence and deflection do the work. Now we're getting close to finishing the perfect NPC, but here I want to pause and talk about something that genuinely used to drive me insane. This happens when you're supposed to introduce someone with a specific hook in mind. You describe, I don't know, a crime lord as ruthless and cunning, a major threat the party needs to deal with, and now your players are fixating on the fact that they're wearing a weird ring, and now they think the ring's important, and now they're invested in the ring's origins, and now they're trying to find other people wearing that same stupid ring, and you're sitting there trying to steer them back to the crime lord's actual deal, the thing that matters to the plot. But finding that impulse is actually a mistake, because your players are engaged, they're paying attention, and they're investing into something, even if it's not the thing you planned for them to be invested in. So when you're designing an introduction, build in one hook you're happy to let grow into something bigger. If your players grab onto a different detail, let it become part of the story. Because let's face it, would it really be that hard to put that ring into the story? Or is it just me being stubborn and only looking at what I planned? All engagement is success, even when it's not the engagement you're expecting. So finally, if you've got an NPC coming up, try this. Take away all the backstory. Don't describe who they are, where they came from, what faction they're part of. Just describe what they're doing when the party meets them. Are they trying to get something right now? Or are they trying to protect something? Is there a contradiction between what the party expects and what they actually are seeing? That's your introduction. Start there and build outwards if you need to, but start with the thing that creates immediate interest. And trust me, you're going to save a lot of time doing it this way. For villains specifically, try introducing them without a direct confrontation. Show the party what they've left behind, like a crime scene or a survivor who's traumatized. You just want a message that makes it clear that this person is dangerous and deliberate. Let the villain's presence be felt before they're even seen. Save the face-to-face for when it actually matters and when the party's ready for it, and when you're ready to deal with whatever the party decides to do about it. And before you let an NPC do something cool or impressive, ask yourself, should this moment belong to the players instead? If the NPC solving the problem, outsmarting the enemy, saving the day, you're basically stealing the spotlight. So in a few words, players don't need to be told who matters. They need to see why someone matters through what the person's doing, what they're causing, or what tension they're creating. Basically, if your players aren't engaging with an NPC, don't explain harder, do cleaner intros, because the difference between an NPC your players forget immediately and an NPC they bring up sessions later has almost nothing to do with how good your character concept is, and it has everything to do with whether the first 10 seconds gave them a reason to care. Figure out how to do that and you'll stop losing them at the start. So let me know in the comments your favorite NPC, or one that wasn't supposed to be important but the players made it so he was. If you've personally struggled with any of the stuff that's mentioned today, leave it below so we can all learn from each other. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay spicy adventurers.